Hello and welcome to The Big Fight. The question of the death penalty is once again squarely on center stage. This after recent events in Tamil Nadu and a question being asked 11 years after a mercy petition was first put up and then it gets rejected. Are the people essentially being punished twice? And of course, the lingering questions that have been asked for a long time about some others, Afzal Guru, what should happen in his case? A lot of demands that he should be hanged. What is happening to Kasab? And at what point is he going to get any further punishment? And then, of course, is death penalty itself good or bad? Those are some of the questions that we're going to be discussing on this special episode of The Big Fight. I want to start off by welcoming onto the program Mr. Subramanian Swamy, senior advocate who has represented Nalini and many others in this case. Thank you so much, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, for being with us. We're also being joined by Mr. T.K. Selangovan, who's a spokesperson of the DMK, the Tamil Nadu Assembly, of course, passing that unanimous resolution asking that there should be mercy granted in the case of these three people. Subramanian Swamy, president of the Janata Party, a former law minister who doesn't agree with that viewpoint at all, and we'll be hearing from him why. S.A.R. Gilani, it's great to have you with us in the studio. You are, of course, have been linked in some way to the other case where Afzal Guru now and his death sentence is becoming a major talking point. It's wonderful to have you with us. Divya Saraskar, who is the daughter of Vijay Saraskar, of course, one of the heroes and the martyrs of 26/11. It's great to have you with us to also ask you for your views on Ajmal Kasab. Your mother is also with us, ma'am. Thank you so much for being with us. Smita Vijay Saraskar sitting with us here as a special guest in our audience. Bhisham Sukhani, who's a survivor of the 26/11 attacks and doesn't think that a death penalty is the right punishment, but for a different sort of a reason for the people who are involved in that. And Sudhakar Suratkar, former IPS officer, someone who's also a close friend of Hemant Karkare. It's wonderful to have you with us as well. Can I just first start off by taking a look at the situation in Tamil Nadu now, where it was an unusual situation that a mercy petition lingered with the President of India for 11 years and 4 months and then was rejected. To your mind, is that the major argument, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, which is being made right now, that these people have spent 20 years in prison, now if they're hanged, it's a double punishment?
Not only that, they are in jail for 20 years. And their involvement in the case is, even according to the CBI, they do not have any direct involvement. These three persons were very young at the time of arrest. They were only 20 years and 19 years. Only considering all these things, they have already spent more than 20 years in the jail. The people of Tamil Nadu wanted that the mercy petition may be considered favorably.
Subramanian Swamy, first of all, do you agree that that's what the people of Tamil Nadu want?
Certainly not. The question you see here is...
If you're saying certainly not, how come that the Tamil Nadu Assembly passed it as a unanimous resolution, including people who were earlier saying that they should be punished and should be punished fast? Now suddenly there's a resolution.
Tamil Nadu Assembly historically has done many stupid things. This is one of the stupid things that it has done. I don't think that reflects on the people. If there can be other ways of determining that. I'm not on that issue. The issue is that if your nation is to be run on laws, then the laws have to be interpreted by the Supreme Court. In 1989, there was a constitutional bench which went comprehensively into this question. Whether a delay can be a basis for not changing the judgment, because you can't change a judgment passed by the Supreme Court, but not execute it, make it unexecutable. Whether that can be an argument. And they came to the conclusion, reversing an earlier judgment which said 2 years should be the maximum for mercy petitions to be decided. Otherwise, it should be an automatic change. They came to the conclusion that it can be only one of the many considerations in deciding this matter. And in that context, they said, if the crime is a premeditated, cold-blooded murder, then there is no question of any mercy being given.
I saw you nodding your head while he was speaking. Does that mean you agree with what he says, that that's what the law says?
Yes, the law is, till 1999, if the mercy petition was not considered within a period of 2 years, automatically the sentence will be commuted. The Supreme Court said that will be also taken into consideration. That does not mean that should not be taken into consideration.
So you're saying that maybe what the law says, but you still feel that there should be mercy that should be shown in this case. Mr. Elangovan, let me just ask you, the entire Tamil Nadu Assembly, the exception of the Congress party, getting together and saying that mercy should be given. On what basis is this being argued? That they should be treated in a...
The first thing, as Mr. Doraisamy was telling, it was 20 years since the people were arrested and they are in prison. Normally, a life imprisonment is just for 14 years, and they have crossed beyond that period. Secondly, these people are not directly connected with the people who had schemed. They can be let on mercy.
Okay. Subramanian Swamy, let me just put you... The broader question which is being asked out here is, are we punishing somebody twice? To have somebody spending 20 years in prison on death row,
first of all,
and then you hang the person, in a sense, is it the fault, for whatever reason, the mercy petition could have been rejected in the first week, as did happen at the governor's level. The mercy petition was rejected very fast, and then after that things could have proceeded. In this case, if for 11 years and 4 months the President's office has sat on it, does that make it unfair then to hang these people?
First of all, the President's office did not sit on it. The President's office got the recommendation of the Home Ministry on March of this year.
So where was it? Where has it been for 11 years?
It was in Home Ministry.
So the Home Ministry sat on it for 11 years? All right. Whoever sat on it for 11 years,
no,
is it unfair to
let's get the
people?
facts straight at least. The President did not sit on it. The second thing is that you cannot arrogate yourself to be another Supreme Court. If we are going to follow the laws, if the nation is going to be known as being governed by laws and not by men's wishes from time to time, then you have to go to the Supreme Court for an interpretation of the law. And the law is that only after the judgment the period begins to be counted. So 1999 onwards. The people today who are agitating for the commutation of the sentence, like Vaiko and Jethmalani, they were part of the government. Jethmalani was a minister for 5 years. Vaiko was part of the ruling party for 7 years. And so, of the 11 years since 2000, these people were in government for the majority. What were they doing? They were, in fact, party to delaying the decision on the...
Okay, Mr. Elangovan, let me throw that to you. Where have all the political parties in Tamil Nadu been for these 11 years?
The problem now is that it is a very sensitive question. See, if they are sent to the gallows, it will affect the people mentally, because they have been saying this is not a deterrent. This punishment is not a deterrent.
No, hang on.
Because
can I just ask you, Mr. Elangovan, in the year of the law 2000, when Mr. Karunanidhi says that the mercy petition should be rejected in these people's case, at that time we weren't worried about the effect on people's minds.
And he was part of the government.
I mean, he was
both in the center and in the state.
So at that time, Mr. Karunanidhi, in 2000, Mr. Karunanidhi felt that the mercy petition should be rejected. So what's changed between then and 2011?
Yes, that is now, it is 11 years since what had happened then. So this changes the position. The question now is that...
Okay, he's changed his position. Fine.
They are in prison for 20 years. That is the one thing which is in favor of them.
Okay. So he has changed his position. He's conceding he's changed his position, but he says he's changed his position because they've been in jail for 20 years.
That's not an argument in any law. You can't make a law, because this is not Ku Klux Klan, you see, that you can take law into your own hands.
Mercy is available only for death sentences, not other sentences.
Okay, fine. Swamy, then I want to broaden it to everyone.
In 2002, the then President, Mr. K. Narayanan, when the recommendation was made by the ministry, he rejected the recommendation. Again, when Dr. Abdul Kalam came in 2005, he again rejected. 2 times the central government, Home Ministry, made the recommendation to reject the mercy petition. They refused on the ground. These persons did not directly involve in the murder. So they rejected the a recommendation of the government and asked them to reconsider the mercy.
No,
That is the
you're
position.
saying that twice the president has said that mercy should be given.
Yes, not given. They directed the Home Ministry to reconsider the mercy petition.
Well, let me tell you the correct position. A letter was sent by Ms. Sonia Gandhi to Mr. Narayanan, who was president, saying that these 4 should be given, their sentences should be commuted. He did not agree. He just kept pending. The NDA government then took it to the state governor, Mr. Sarojit Singh Barnala, where DMK was in power. And in my opinion, illegally got Nalini's sentence commuted and got the other 3 rejected. That's the correct position.
Okay.
Abdul Kalam never had anything to do with this.
No, I'm sorry, it is not correct. It's not correct.
Right, sir, we hear you. I just want to broaden this a little bit. And I want to ask the rest of you, and I want to move it to an overall discussion on the death penalty and punishment. But first, I want to get all of your views as well on the one of the basic questions that's being raised out here. Once somebody has spent 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years on death row, is it then wrong to hang the person? Is it effectively punishing a person twice? Mr. Gilani?
Definitely it is punishing a person twice. As he was referring to the constitutional bench, the same constitutional bench says that undue delay in execution amounts to the violation of fundamental rights. And it should be the sufficient ground to ask asking for the commutation of the sentence.
So supposing for some reason somebody is supposed to have been hanged and that person hasn't been hanged for a long time and it's pending, then you mean the hanging should be set aside? It can't happen.
Definitely, I think that death penalty should be abolished itself.
Okay, that's a broader question which I'll come to. Divya, what happens in a case where somebody's been in prison for a long time? Take Kasab, for example. Supposing he's been in prison for 10, 15 years, then should he not be hanged?
No, but that does not change the reality, right? The only thing that can give justice to people who lost their lives in 26/11 is that he should be hanged, be it even 50 years of prison.
Okay, Visham.
Well, I think instead of looking at it as a hypothetical situation, as a country, we don't really have the conviction to carry out the death sentence. Instead, we simply keep haggling about it over and over again. From my point of view, and again, I stand by what you said, the death penalty should be abolished on the basis of our history, on how reluctant we are to actually carry it out. The death penalty has not been a deterrent. It is, as you say, 1,000 deaths for the person on death row. It is also 1,000 deaths for the people who are waiting for justice because they will not get closure. The illusion of justice through death for them is in any way fooling themselves. But for the person on death row, given the fact that we do not have a history of carrying out execution since 1995, since just one, I think that makes a very strong case for the death penalty to be thoroughly irrelevant in our society.
So you're saying just do away with it and say there will be life in prison or you'll spend your life in prison or something like that?
In absolute terms.
All right. Where do you stand on this?
We have not abolished death penalty. I would feel that it has to be implemented immediately, because if it had to be deterrent. So unless the punishment is given immediately, the impact is lost.
Right. So in this case, where for whatever reason, whether it was the Home Ministry who was sleeping on it, for 20 years after the offence, these people have not been punished. They've been in, I mean, they have been punished, they've been in prison, they haven't been hanged. They haven't been hanged. So now is it too late to hang them?
Take it the other way. The fellows who have committed this heinous crime are merciless. They have killed innocents for no reason. Why should they deserve mercy? This is the question I am asking. So, if the death penalty has to be effective, I would say there need not be any mercy petition. Any crime...
so you're saying you would like the law itself to be changed. Just have, the minute you get death, you should be...
Particularly any crime against the nation, against the society, and against the humanity, has to be punished very quickly.
But I'm again asking you, what happens if it hasn't happened for whatever reason? Then does it change the situation?
Say a person who is very conscious, and if the guilt weighs on him, he cannot live through so many years. People have died of shock.
He has made an important point. The fact is that the judgment which my friend here quoted specifically says that inordinate delay will not apply where the nature of the crime or the nature of the offense or the perpetrators have done it with deliberate, cold-blooded intention. Here are people who have killed Rajiv Gandhi for the only reason that they said he sent the IPKF to Sri Lanka. It is, and Rajiv Gandhi sent IPKF to Sri Lanka because there was a resolution of parliament that IPKF should be sent. And he was held personally responsible. Of these three, two are foreigners. They are LTT people from Sri Lanka. They are not even Indians. The other one was working for them as a servant. So these three people premeditated, participated in the conspiracy. How can you show any mercy when 18 policemen and with their young children suffering, they died along with Rajiv Gandhi?
That would be the case in other cases as well, in 2611.
One point. I heard their daughter, Haritra, speak. She says, I can write letters to my father. Then who do I write letters to? They are in jail. She can write letters. She can have communication. So what am I supposed to do? Just sit and talk? So is it really justice on my part? See, people who haven't lost anybody will not understand the problems of losing a family support system. And especially people who come from a middle class background, the police officers or even those police constables who were there at that point, they were the sole earning members of the family. Suddenly you tell them that, you know, oh, they are gone and now their wives have to stand up. It's not just one night. It is a whole life episode.
Mr. Swamy, she's in a sense flipping what you said, that they were very young at that time, you know, 20 years have passed, now we should be lenient on them. She says that and that's what he was saying as well, that for those who'd lost their lives, where is the question of looking back for them?
Her feelings should be respected. But one thing we should see, 9 provisions of the Indian Penal Code says the death penalty.
I'm saying death penalty has always existed in India.
302 is concerned, murder is concerned, that happens suddenly. It is a provocation, sudden provocation, sustained provocation, not compared to the sedition or waging war against the country or kidnapping a person for ransom. That is entirely different. In so far as these three persons concerned, the fact Mr. Subramanian Swamy may not be fully knowing, the case against them is they did not directly involved in this case. They did not directly conspire. The conspirators are, according to the prosecution, Prabhakaran, Puttaman, Agila and Sivarajan. These 4 persons conspired. He came to India, required the help of these 25 persons and executed the murder. They did not directly involve.
It's conspiracy, it's not the rarest of the rare, and that's another question.
No, but the Supreme Court has gone into this question whether these 3 people, these 4 people including Nalini, were participants, active participants or not, and they said they were fully participants. Without that, this could not have been carried out.
In a sense, that's not. In a sense, Swamy, we can't reopen the case. The case was done. The case was tried in 1999. The Supreme Court says they deserved death.
Yes.
That is what the legal process comes to. Now it's a question that having been convicted and found guilty and sentenced, whether they get mercy or not.
They did not acquit
19%.
That's not correct.
Since there's no evidence.
There's no
correct. Let's not. We're not now. You're not surely arguing that we should reopen the case itself.
That cannot be. That cannot be. In the mercy petition,
I think, see, for a crime to be qualified for death penalty, it needs to be rare as rare. Then murdering a person who's been a prime minister of the country, 2611, these are rarest of rare. Then you need to have this guilt of a person proved beyond the reasonable doubt. For that you need a watertight investigation without any loopholes. Tell me any case which has a watertight investigation. You know the kind of investigations we have, shoddy kind of investigations, and on the basis of that shoddy kind of investigation, one should not be hanged.
Okay, Mr. Elangovan, let me just get you back in. This case has actually been to the Supreme Court, so their guilt, in a sense, or their innocence or their guilt is a settled issue by the Supreme Court. The fact that the Tamil Nadu Assembly would come and pass a resolution like this has also been questioned, notably by Omar Abdullah and others who are wondering whether in Afzal Guru's case, if that was to happen, I'm going to throw that to you, Mr. Gilani. Do you think that, where do you think the legality or the position of the Tamil Nadu Assembly in getting into this is right now?
No, the assembly is representing the people of Tamil Nadu who have been watching this case. This killing has happened in Tamil Nadu. People are watching the cases since 1991. And the assembly, Tamil Nadu assembly is representing the people of Tamil Nadu.
Okay, now can I ask you that? So what Omar Abdullah says is that if that is the case,
yes,
what would have happened if in Kashmir there are also people who are very concerned about what happens to Afzal Guru, and there's a question that whether that could lead to a disturbance. What Omar Abdullah says is what would be the reaction if the Kashmir Assembly was to pass a similar resolution?
Well, I think Omar Abdullah has rightly said that that the reaction would have been very different. The reaction would have been different from the people here, I mean, from political parties. It would have been different. As for these people, like I was in Tamil Nadu on 30th when this High Court judgment came, I was there. I met three persons also in jail, Vellore jail. I saw in Vellore, I saw in Chennai, there's a huge crowds for their support. I was in the High Court, I saw the huge crowd, all lawyers there, outside in Chennai there. In Vellore there was a public meeting, a huge, thousands of people were there.
So does that mean if there is public opinion in favor of somebody's acquittal or in favor of somebody's hanging, should that change the situation, or should we be guided by law?
It is not that.
Because there is public opinion, for example, strongly saying that Afzal Guru should be hanged.
No, it is not. That's what I'm saying. You see,
at the end of the day, are we guided by public opinion, or are we guided by law?
They are being punished twice. Not only them, but for the last 20 years, their families are being punished. Their families are being punished.
Okay, fine.
And in Afzal Guru's case, in Afzal Guru's case, I was talking about an investigation. High Court, Delhi High Court has said that police in this case has fabricated the evidence, forged the documents. This is the kind of investigation. How can you hang Afzal Guru on the basis of this kind of shoddy investigation? Supreme Court says there is no direct evidence against him. How can you do it to Afzal Guru?
Subramanian Swamy?
No, you see, the question is
public opinion says don't hang them in Tamil Nadu. In Kashmir, there will be public opinion Afzal Guru is hanged. Do we take these decisions based on public opinion? And there's other public opinion which says we should hang them.
Why I call the Tamil Nadu Assembly election, the resolution is stupid, is because it says keeping in view the Tamil sentiment, these people should be given amnesty. So Omar Abdullah posed a rhetorical question. Supposing I talk about keeping in view the Kashmiri sentiment, and said that would there be the same kind of muted reaction. Badal has followed it up with a Sikh reaction. Now, are we going to be one country where an Indian sentiment is going to have any value, or we are going to allow ourselves to be broken up into 20 countries?
Mr. Ilan Govan, let me throw that question to you. At the end of the day, do these issues have to be decided on the basis of law? And I get your legal point. They've been punished twice.
It is not a question of Tamil sentiment I am speaking.
That is in the resolution.
I have already stated that seeking mercy is available only for the death sentences. They are already in prison for more than 20 years.
Okay.
So they can even that death sentence should be commuted. That is the only question.
Okay, so you're saying
not that they should be let off free, they are innocent, or they should be acquitted. That is not the question now.
Okay, Smita Salaskar, let me just get you in. On the question of public opinion, should public opinion be deciding these matters? Because in the case of somebody like Kasab, public opinion is different. Public opinion says he should be hanged, he should be hanged immediately. Why are we waiting for a day?
Yeah, that is true. Public opinion is that. And in all these things which are discussed on this platform, public opinion is definitely of hanging them. There is no... these
in
people,
some cases, as you say, there's public opinion says, do not hang the people in Tamil Nadu.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that.
This is not
there
a public
no
opinion
way
at
of
all.
Objectively deciding what the people of Tamil Nadu want.
Yes, yes.
They don't.
So you are saying public
pro-LTD people cannot decide what is
happening
happening in Tamil Nadu.
We are also going through many, meeting many people. This is not public opinion at all. Those who are suffered and those who are suffering from that, or mercy. Why mercy for these people? They had big plans. Now, if you are going to set the example of this Tamil Nadu Rajiv Gandhi's assassination, then the same you will have debate on Kasab also. That masterminds were there in the Pakistan. Now Kasab is not directly involved. So 20 years have been passed. So he should not be hanged. And then what about the justice? There is no justice for the citizen of this nation at all.
Okay. So may I just ask a question here? May I just ask a question here? How have we reached a point where we equate death penalty as absolute justice and a life sentence as mercy? I think that is an illusion that is afforded
If I come and kill your
the
mother,
political class.
if I come and kill your mother, will your sentiments will be like this? Then come and answer me.
Madam, I narrowly escaped death in there, and for the first
I'm
2
saying
weeks
in
after
India,
the attacks, I wanted
people
him
come
to
from
die.
outside, from other country, from Pakistan. Yesterday I read the news, 3 were killed, Pakistani, and one was shaheed on the border. People outside, this is the only big crime that they can enter our country. If they were caught on the border.
And as he said, two of these people...
Will killing Kasab send the message of deterrence across the border or give us the feeling of justice? I am telling you, it does not provide us with closure. Death does not provide closure. The illusion that life imprisonment is mercy will cost us a worse penalty, madam.
I am going through life imprisonment and not Kasab. You know, Kasab is not going with life imprisonment. I am going through life imprisonment.
One at a time, one at a time. One at a time, one at a time, one at a time.
Exactly, I would have been in a body bag, but that does not take away from the argument about the death penalty just simply
I want to come to the broader question. I want to come to the broader question of death penalty, but I just want to finish this entire issue which is just being raised about whether public opinion, one way or the other, can ever be measured or should ever be considered as a criteria. As she says, public opinion, actually, maybe in Kashmir, there's a view that you shouldn't hang Afzal Guru. If public opinion is a criteria, then in the rest of the country there is a public opinion that Afzal Guru should be hanged tomorrow. Why
Not
even
Vikram, not Vikram. I have been in that.
I mean, how do you judge public opinion? Is the point I'm trying to make.
See, I have been through this, length and breadth of this country. I have spoken to every city, and I have asked them questions. The fact of the matter is that people are not aware of the reality. Afzal was not the person who was inside the parliament. Supreme Court says that the Supreme Court acquitted him of being a member of any unlawful organization. Acquitted him of explosive act. There are what circumstantial evidence against him, and those circumstances are against him only and only because he did not have a lawyer at the very beginning in the trial court. So this is unfair. He has never got a fair trial. The problem is that later. I'm just coming to the audience. But what he's saying essentially that if the process, I think what he's questioning is the process of the trial and the process of justice itself was flawed from the very beginning. Then what happens?
See, if he said about the police investigation, that the investigation was shoddy.
But that's often the case.
I would say that if the investigation is shoddy, then it would result in acquittal and not conviction. So the very fact that it has resulted in conviction, I think at times you must appreciate the good work done by police.
So why you're saying
that is what I am saying. It is not we. It is the Delhi High Court saying. It is Delhi High Court saying that in this case police has fabricated the evidence, forged of documents. Go and see the judgment.
At the end of the day, he still did get the death sentence.
Why? That's what I am saying. Just to to satisfy the collective conscience of the society.
Okay. Is this something which you think is a real chance going to happen in the Kasab case?
It was required by the law.
Sorry.
Your mother said that at some point these same questions will be raised in the Kasab case as well. Was he really guilty or was he not?
Well, they can be, but we have too much evidence against it. We have too much real footage, everything. But still, there can be various debates on it. Supreme Court said this and this happened and that happened. It's very important. Like my mother said, we as India should stand as a nation. Why do I support capital punishment? Because if we do not set an example, see, we had 26/11 and we thought it was the last we saw, but then we had 13/7 and we do not know how many more we are going to have. But at least let us set one example that India is not scared of taking a stand.
Okay, his point is that death sentence is not necessarily taking that stance. I'm going to come back to this debate in just a couple of minutes. Let's just broaden it a little bit. The overall ethical, moral, other questions as to whether death sentence is the only way to demonstrate the resolve that Divya was talking about. That's when we come back after this break. Welcome back to The Big Fight. So we've been taking a look at these specific cases, the cases of the killers of Rajiv Gandhi, or the people involved in that case, in the case of Afzal Guru and in the case of Kasab, of course. Let's just broaden the issue a little bit about the overall existentialist question as to whether capital punishment should be there at all. You are arguing, Hisham, that it's a worse punishment, if I understand you correctly, for somebody to be in jail for life than to be hanged.
Yes,
Is that your point?
Yes, allow me to make the point. I think there are terrible misgivings about the life sentence being, in a way, either a let-off or an exit in the future. We need to implement the life sentence in the absolute terms as life imprisonment until natural death. How that life imprisonment is implemented is something that the government needs to think about, but because they sell the illusion that it isn't, therefore the death penalty is still relevant in our system, even though it has no place in civil society, and it sells the illusion of justice. That's what it does, and that fails us.
Sweta ma'am, let me ask you, is that, I mean, is that good enough for you, or at the end of the day, do you think death is death, and
No, death
even if
is
the
death.
person is spending
Because
the person's life,
I'm facing...
he says it's worse for someone to spend their entire life in jail?
No, it's not worse.
Well,
it's not worse, you know, not at all. If the punishment, life imprisonment would have been like that, you know, काळे पाणी शिक्षा, ब्रिटिशांच्या काळामध्ये जी होती तशी काळ्या पाण्याची शिक्षा, असं लाईफ इम्प्रिझनमेंट असतं तर आम्ही त्याचा थोडा तरी विचार केला असता. पण एक आरामात आहे तो कसाबकेला जाऊन सगळेजण दे आस्क अँड सी हाऊ कम्फर्टेबल ही इज.
Okay.
That is not life imprisonment. That is not punishment. That is not punishment.
It is not. It's a, Vikram, I have been on death row for 2 years.
That's why I'm asking you.
I have seen it. I have seen it. It is not. It's not that. It's worst.
But the same system acquitted you.
Afzal has made, acquitting an innocent person is not a big gain.
Yeah, but the system acquitted you.
You know,
See,
system punished me first and then. Oh, anyway,
okay, can I ask you a direct question?
Yes, why?
To settle this, you have spent time on
yes,
death row.
I have spent 2
At
years.
the end of the time, if somebody had told you that at that time when you were on death row, look, you can either be hanged tomorrow or you will spend the rest of your life here on death row, which would you have picked?
I think that that is easiest way out. Yeah.
Then why are you fighting? Then why are you fighting? So you're asking to get Afzal acquitted completely, as opposed to it would be worse for him.
Afzal has got, it is, that's he never got a fair trial.
What is it?
What I am saying, see that
No,
why
so
I am opposing the death sentence.
So you would
because
think, no, hang on, I'm just asking a simple question. You're saying that at that time you would have preferred death to spending your life on death row. So why are you arguing for Afzal Guru to not get the death sentence?
I'm saying that that punishment which is given, the death sentence itself, is unfair to him. Because he has never got the fair trial.
Committing a crime.
He has never got the fair trial.
That is unfair.
Yes, let us look into the reopen the case.
Okay,
look into the case.
He says that he's been on death row and death is almost easier than spending a life in prison.
I don't believe
think
this.
we are in danger
He may feel like that, but I don't
agreement.
believe it. But then he says the life imprisonment is only the right punishment. That is also not correct.
Okay, is it?
No.
Which is the worst punishment?
No, it doesn't matter which. The matter was considered twice on a petition before the Supreme Court, whether death penalty should be abolished or not. And they went into all these questions of ethics, our history, everything. And they came to the conclusion that for India, death penalty is essential. So this is a debate which has been gone through the Supreme Court and has come to a finality in terms of judgment. Number one.
The problem is that can you have?
Do you agree with the death sentence in general? Are you objecting to that as well?
one thing we have to remember, 1966 only, till then, for any murder, the death penalty is the rule. Thereafter, the Supreme Court said only in rare of the rarest case, the death penalty should be given. So up to 1996, the sentence was only death. Will it mean that no murder has happened thereafter? No, it is continuing.
This is pseudo-torture. This is pseudo-torture. We have executed just one individual in the last 16 years. What are we therefore saying? That the death penalty is not for implementation, but to torture people who are on death row. That has become a form of quasi-punishment because there is no conviction to carry out the death penalty.
You are killing them day in and day out. Not only them, not only the person who is on the death row, but you are killing their family. You are torturing their families.
And even the people who have been affected by this incident do not see justice.
I'm going to get the audience in now. Divya.
So we are talking about the families of those who, they had to think about their families before they committed something like this. At that point they didn't. Then why always human rights have to be for criminals? What about human rights of people who give life for the country? It's a huge thing, believe me.
Well, Vikram, the statistics are absolute. Neither have the criminals on death row been put to death, and the people who are the survivors or people who are families of the victims will never see closure. The person who is to be hung will not be hung. Everybody loses.
It just continues. Okay, let me get the audience. And the audience have been clamoring to say something on the subject. First of all, how many of you, can I just do a completely unscientific poll? This is just a small representative, it's not representative of India. How many of you support death penalty? Okay, that's a rather one-sided audience. How many of you people feel, okay, let me ask you a different question. Maybe you support death penalty. What if somebody's already spent 20 years on death row? Then should the person still be hanged?
I will say that he has lived off the country. He has lived off the country and he has...
Okay.
I think
so this is a rather, okay, ma'am, one at a time. Yes, ma'am, yeah.
See, what you said, that he is already in the 20 years or 30 years or 15 years into the jail, but that doesn't shorten, that doesn't stop whatever he's done. He's done a very big crime.
Right.
He's shot
so he should
people.
still be hanged. Okay,
yeah,
fine.
he should be hanged also.
He has lived a life which he should not have lived, and let us say that he has seen progress of India at the cost of India. And still we are...
So you're saying if he spent 20 years in prison, he should consider himself lucky? That he wasn't hanged there?
Yeah, that's what. He has lived off India, of the taxpayers' money. We are spending more money on him.
that takes us to more.
Now we know which way the audience feels.
Okay. No, I think these three cases are quite different from rest of the cases and all. They became quite high profile. And at the same time, you know, the longer that you let such cases linger on, politics comes into play. I mean, it's a matter about DMK now changing its stance, what it said 11 years ago.
And it's going to happen in every state for some reason.
And it's going to happen every time. And these are three separate states.
No, but there could be others which will come in. Fine, the gentleman there.
I have a perspective here. With due respect to all the views and logics behind this, what message are we passing on? I mean, are we saying that you can get drunk, carry a gun, shoot someone, file in an application, hire an expensive advocate for yourself, right? And you get life imprisonment for 20 years, which is a high security cell, so that nobody outside who's a brother of somebody who's gotten died or who's died cannot even avenge the death.
If you look into if you look into it,
let me just get some other views.
Yeah, if you look into it, most of those people who are on death row, most of them cannot afford a lawyer. You're talking about, you know, hiring people.
You just said those three people who are in Tamil Nadu had thousands of lawyers. There is no support. They are all
very strongly on the subject.
I will consider these points in three aspects. First, legal aspect. Are we questioning the wisdom of Supreme Court here by saying that it is not right? Second, social. If you are speaking about justice to criminals' family, then what about justice to people who fought for this country?
Yeah, that's a Divya point.
Third. Now, politically, you are talking about Tamil sentiments. What about the sentiments of entire Indian population?
Rest of the nation.
All right, that's okay. Now, this is, I'm sorry, I have to go completely end. The final comment on that gentleman.
I have a small question to Mr. Giuliani.
Yes.
Right now, he himself admitted there has only been one death after 1995. There have been umpteen cases where murders have taken place. Supreme Court has used their principle, rarest of the rare. All these guys who are on the death row are rarest of the rare cases. They deserve no mercy at all.
Okay,
really
fine.
Look into the investigation.
I have to take a break right now. I want to get final comments from all of you, including responses to what we just heard from the audience when we come back after this break. Let me now try and get some final closing thoughts from all of our panelists. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Elangovan, and I think I have to say, this is not necessarily a representative audience which is out here. It doesn't necessarily represent the views of all the people of the country, but at least the audience here completely united on one thing, that you cannot show mercy in cases like this. And a gentleman out here saying it's already pre-selected that these are the rarest of the rare cases. Final thoughts from you, Mr. Elangovan.
Yes. See, my comment is this: about 140 countries have abolished death sentence with the support of the public. That is, does that mean that these countries are civilized than us? So we should also abolish death sentence. Death sentence need not be there at all, first thing.
Yes, we are civilized, come kill us.
Okay,
yes.
There's an audience. Sorry. What is that comment which you just made? I have to give you a final
and
thought.
Those who stand for the criminals, I doubt for their civilization.
Yes, civilized nations are removing death sentences, boss. It is an invitation. We are civilized, come, kill us, and file an application. That's the same thing.
Okay, fine. That is the final view now from the audience. I'm going to urge the audience to bear with me for a while I get everyone else in. Final thoughts from you on the subject.
No, there has to be rule of law. And everybody is to be treated alike. We say that all are equal before law. But is it practiced? It's not. So unless we ensure that the justice is not delayed.
Okay. You have to make sure that justice is not delayed. Isham, final thoughts from you. You heard what the audience felt out here. You're clearly in a bit of a minority when it comes.
And I don't mind standing steadfast by that. I survived the attack. I was in there for 12 hours and I narrowly missed being killed 4 times. But I say this with conviction that I do not want Kasab to be hung because I do not equate bloodlust with justice. I do not believe life sentence is mercy. In fact, I think we would have horribly failed ourselves if we allowed the political class, as they have in the last week, to hijack this issue on the basis of vote bank politics, as well as stoking a very dangerous communal hatred, which is returning on the basis of this.
Okay. Divya?
I still stand by capital punishment. There should be capital punishment. Kasab should be hanged. Afzal Guru should be hanged. We need to set some very strong examples out here. The reason is that, you know, we don't have borders that are peaceful. We have extremely volatile borders which affect world politics. Even for that matter, America went out and killed Osama bin Laden. They made, and that is when the
Sorry, what were you saying, ma'am? Final thoughts from you, Smita ji.
Nationals got the
Doesn't matter.
When Osama bin Laden was killed.
Justice is more than we're returning
Okay,
ourselves
fine.
to
That's the only way to get justice. That's when the people got justice when Osama was killed.
Well, there was a question about, you know, the question was that about the Supreme Court's wisdom, legal wisdom and other things. Let me tell this mercy petition, the appeal to President under Article 72, it is not something about the legalities. It is process of this, it's a legal process. It's a further legal process. If you see the Law Commission's report on this, it says that this mercy petition is because the provision has been provided because there might be some evidence or some circumstance which has not been brought in the right perspective before the court.
In 20 years it hasn't been brought.
Let me see. And there might be some things which may come before the court or which may come forth after the case is decided. So the mercy petition or the appeal to the President is not something which is you know, apart from the legal process. It is part of the legal process. One thing.
Okay.
So, second thing, talking about the rule of law. The law says that you should prove the guilty of a person beyond a reasonable doubt. For that, you need to have investigation, that watertight investigation, which doesn't happen. Any case, like you say, Afzal Guru, you gave you the example. You say Bullar's case, one judge acquits him and other judge, you know, punishes him for death. So how can you see? The other judge also has the wisdom that he's acquitting him for what?
Okay.
Well, I know this is all supra legal system. I'm not concerned with that. I am within the Indian Constitution. He may be talking about some other constitution. So I don't want. I'm not.
No, Mr. Subramanian Swamy, you are deliberately talking about.
No, I am saying.
I'm talking. Let me put
under the Indian Constitution, the Supreme Court has not laid down any time limit before you can say that the delay is inordinate. In fact, one judgment of the Supreme Court in 1983 said 2 years, and the constitutional bench struck it down.
Okay, but
so there is no. First thing is this. Second thing, let me tell you, this public opinion is a dangerous thing. You will have to read. You read the judgment of Justice Khosla when he sent Godse to the death, gave him the death penalty. And he is recorded in his judgment, had public opinion been the deciding factor, after hearing Godse's speech, they would have released him and freed him and celebrated him as a hero. This is what Justice Khosla said after Godse made his statement in the court, his last and final statement. So you cannot go by public opinion. You have to go by laws.
All right,
and therefore,
fine.
what they are doing is a very dangerous thing.
Okay, Mr. Duraisamy, final thoughts from you, then we have to end this program.
Hanging a person by virtue of the orders of the court is murdering a person in a legal way. It's a barbaric one.
Okay.
See, in this case, Rajiv Gandhi's case, the trial court ordered,
Audience, please.
the trial court awarded 26 persons death sentence. In case, if it was executed, now the Supreme Court found 19 of them are very innocent, 100% innocent.
Not true.
Then what?
Lie.
Okay,
Then
fine.
What would
All right,
happen
obviously,
if the
thank you.
sentence was
Thank you, everybody. Audience, we will continue this, I promise you. Obviously, this is a subject which continues to evoke really strong emotions, as you can judge. But we are going to have to end it there for the moment. You've been watching The Big Fight. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll be back next week.